In this lecture, we're going to learn how to install Python. We'll start with the installation process on Windows, as that's the operating system on my machine. If you're using a different operating system, don't worry. We'll cover installing Python on macOS and Linux separately in upcoming lectures. Before we dive into the installation process, let's take a moment to ensure that Python isn't already installed on your system. This can save us some time and potential confusion. Open your command prompt by searching for CMD in your Start menu. In the command prompt, type python -- version and press Enter. If Python is already installed, this command will return the version number. If not, don't worry. We'll go through the steps to get Python up and running on your machine. First of all, we need to download the Python installer. Open your web browser and go to the official Python website at python.org. Navigate to the Downloads section. You should see a button to download the latest version of Python for Windows. Click on it to download the installer. If for some reason you need a specific version of Python, you can head over to the Downloads section and select Windows as your operating system. Then you'll see a list of all the available stable releases, as well as beta versions, to choose from. This way, you can pick exactly the version you need for your project. Once you've made your choice and downloaded the appropriate version, head over to your Downloads folder. Find the file you just downloaded and double-click on it to run the installer. A dialog box will appear. Please do not choose Install Now just yet, as we need to adjust a few settings first. You'll see an option at the bottom that says Add Python to Path. Make sure to check this box. This step is crucial because it allows you to run Python from the command line. Then click on Customize Installation. In the next window, you'll see several optional features. This option includes the official Python documentation. Let's keep this checked. PIP, or PIP, stands for Python Package Installer. It's essential for installing and managing additional Python packages. Make sure this box is checked. This includes the libraries needed for the tkinter GUI toolkit and Python's integrated development and learning environment. If you plan to do any GUI development or want to write and run code interactively with IDLE, keep this checked. This option installs the Python test suite, which is useful if you plan to run tests on your code. It's usually safe to leave this unchecked unless you know you need it. The Python launcher for Windows makes it easier to start Python scripts. This is a handy tool, so I recommend keeping this box checked. Check for all users if you share your computer with other users. Once you've reviewed and adjusted the settings as needed, click on Next to proceed. The next screen will present some advanced options. You can check Install Python for all users if you're sharing your computer with other users. Make sure this box is checked. It allows you to run Python from the command line without having to specify the full path to the Python executable. These two options can be left unchecked unless you plan to debug Python itself or need detailed debugging information. If you want to install Python in a specific location other than the default, you can specify the path. Leave the rest as default and click on Install to proceed with the installation. All right, now we're on the Setup Progress page, which might take a few minutes. You might see some status messages indicating what the installer is doing at each step. Once the installation is complete, you should see a screen saying the installation was successful. You can click on Close to finish. At this point, let's move on to verifying the installation. To make sure Python is installed correctly, open the command prompt by typing CMD in the search bar and hitting Enter. In the command prompt window, type python -- version and press Enter. If everything went smoothly, you should see the version of Python you just installed. You can also check the version of PIP by typing PIP -- version and pressing Enter. This will confirm that PIP was installed correctly as well. Great job, everyone! I hope you could follow along and successfully install Python on your Windows machine. In the next couple of lectures, we'll dive into installing Python on macOS and Linux.